2025 is the year of info products. Every influencer under the sun right now is creating their own free community, course, or mentorship program. And the number one issue with info products nowadays is how they look. Everyone has the same landing page, the same community that's not well taken care of, that doesn't look nice, that doesn't have that premium feel, and no wonder everyone calls it a scam. The content may be good, the course may be a good course. Looking at the quality of the videos, looking at the quality of the presentations, people make our first impression the judgment for the whole thing. And very quickly, something that is very high level becomes something extremely kind of trashy and scammy. So in this video, I'm going to actually show you how to create your own info product using Whop, because in my opinion, this is the number one way to actually make aesthetics. And it's what I've used in the past. It works very well. By no means this is sponsored. I'm just going to show you how to use Photoshop, how to use different platforms, and actually create this yourself. So with that being said, let's dive right into it. So the aesthetic Whop community lead capture. It's something very important because a lot of people are trying to capture leads, not only capture leads, but actually create the info products itself. And if you do it via a platform like Discord, you're going to have a separate lead capture, and then Discord will be the actual course itself. And I'm going to explain to you why Discord also ruins the premium feel and aesthetic. Using Discord is often extremely cluttered. Like, you're looking at so many different chats on the side, all with this ugly sidebar. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Yeah, it's very customizable, but it's just all group chats with different accesses depending on who you are. So it doesn't actually have different sections like a course. Instead, you've just got YouTube videos or just a chat, or otherwise admin's chat that's also inbuilt, and a general voice chat, which no one ever uses. Those kind of things are very cluttery, get in the way. And on the sidebar here, you're also looking at like a ton of different, random Discord communities that you've basically never used. So like, what's the actual point? Overall, the messages look kind of weird and odd. Like, you can see you've got these bots, you've got all these different things going on, and overall, it doesn't bring a very premium look. That being said, it's extremely noisy. You have a lot of text coming through, a lot of disturbance, and combine that with all the other group chats you may be in and personal texts. It's just horrible, including the fact that there's games on the platform makes it 10 times worse. Now, the alternative, in my opinion, is going to be Whop. And the reason why is because it's something just more customizable and more focused towards actually the info market. Whop is clean, it's aesthetic, it's an alternative which is free, and you can also set up paid funnels and payment processes now, which is extremely useful, and have a free lead capture in the beginning as well. So essentially a funnel, but this is part of the whole system. Whop is very clean the way it looks, and setting it up is extremely easy. You can see how the dashboard looks like, and they do change the UI very often. It can be very annoying to use and, over time actually get used to, but I'll show you actually like what it's like in the UI, because this is kind of like an old version as well. I'm going to show you what I built myself and how people find this so aesthetic. And to be fair, most of it is through Photoshop and all this like kind of other platforms and stuff. But in general, the way it looks from an outsider standpoint is very clean, very minimalistic, and it looks very nice. Look, I mean, the way I've done it is I've put, different colors for the different topics. So you have the home and you have the start here, announcements and wins, and then also general chats lies on the same umbrella. And then in the earnings section, I did it in green because of money. And then lastly, the clipping section where I actually gave them free templates, resources, that kind of stuff. You can see that on the general sense here. You can just see it's like just a better looking version of Discord in that way. So yeah, let's go into the second section, which find what actually works. Now, a lot of people have this issue. The reason why I say that is because a lot of people look at all these course sellers and, people with bad funnels and stuff, and they have the front video, which is just some very boring and very normal VSL, which is normally the case. You can see it with Brez, you can see it with basically anyone in the industry. And you realize that their communities aren't really well known for that kind of very strong, stable look. When you're creating your community, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Take inspiration from guys like Iman and Daniel Dallin, and the way that they set everything up themselves. You can see with Eman, he's done it very professionally, although he's like the number one course seller, whatever. If you look at consulting.com, so consulting.com is actually what he recently acquired, and in other words, it's essentially what he was doing before with info products, just branded differently. Sorry, mind my pen usage. And Daniel Dallin, the way that he also presents himself, although he actually does mentorship programs with a very select few people. And their setups are very effective because not only is the landing page good, but the color palettes tie in very well. You can see this is my brand color palettes, and a lot of people may want to copy that. I recommend you take your own, because trying to copy what I'm doing, and I'm just saying this out of experience, I don't want to make sure you're doing the right thing here, is you're not going to put me out of business. I'm not worried. I'm saying if you want to do something yourself, sure, you can take it, whatever. But do it your own way. Do what is natural to you. It's going to push you to a way higher level. You're never going to become someone else. So just be the best version of you instead of trying to be the second best version of someone else, if that makes sense. The branding style, not cluttered, make it very clean. You can see how I've made the campaign look here. Just some simple photos. I looked at everyone else's photos essentially. So I would look at the other clipping campaign photos, and they would essentially just have a couple pictures on the front of the page, and then some cluttered writing. Instead, I cleaned it up. I just put 4 very simple pictures in the same way, and then making sure they know that it's my campaign specifically. Then the channel structure, you're looking at less noise, very clear hierarchy in this section as well. We just put what is the free circle, list out the straight bullet points, make it clear, make it visible. And then lastly, also the tone, very simple, persuasive, and make the bullet points very standout and bold. Our whole goal with personal branding is to build a name that means something, that doesn't just reflect something, but actually has its own centrifuged meaning. That's what I've really been so focused on building up. You can do this. Just look at anyone in your industry, type it in into YouTube, and some of them will have Whop community. Some won't. You can see it linked in the description, whatever. Anyway, my point is you can very easily find this on Whop, even just like searching in the type bar saying like trading or this or that, clipping, etc. So having researched these creators, the principle of reverse engineering must be understood. This is something that I always do. I never recreate the wheel. I always do it in my branding, in my concepts, in everything that I do. I always make sure to always take the idea first, whether it's off Pinterest, whether it's off mind maps, whether it's off literally anything, like re-innovate it essentially to my own liking, my own standard. It's gonna start raining. I can really hear the raindrops on the ceiling because I'm in like this kind of like anyway, structure, set up your community skeleton. After finding what works, you can build a Whop community from scratch. The key features to ensure your channel is top notch. Keep the channels minimal and purpose driven. Welcome announcements, free value, education, resource hub, general discussion. And these are like the main principles that you're going to have. If you want to include your template section or somewhere where you, actually give out some information in a course or in another way, make sure to do that as well. And from that, you always make sure to make a clean intentional channel description based off of what it is, because each channel has their own description. Clear onboarding is equal to less churn as well. Making sure that they understand what their motive with inside the community is also extremely important. And then simplicity is always going to be complexity. I mean, I feel like I've gone over this too many times, so it only makes sense. You can see it will come up with a simple little thing. You can do coaching and courses. Let's say in this case, you're going to be focused on e-commerce or social media. Let's say something a bit more niche to me. Host and sell the course. Now, this is something important. If you want to host it on somewhere else, that's completely cool too. But this will host it, and you can see it's a replacement for yeah, there we go. Just filling it in. Let's say tester, create business. It can also AI generate that a bit. As you can see here, you're going to have a simple banner. You can just make sure to have a very simple banner and then a little logo in the top corner. Now, you can also add apps. This is basically the reason And you can make a simple title. This is going to be the front page when people land on your page, essentially. So you can have a look here. You put in literally anything. You can customize it to even be what I recommend, your own custom banner that you can make via Canva. You can make it via Photoshop, anything really. A website that I like to use, it's called Flat Icon. You can literally download any icons that you like. Uh, Literally super, super easy. Like, this is the easiest stuff. You can put like location, and then you will have hundreds of different icons pop up just in seconds. And it's going to show you hundreds of like PNGs in just seconds. You can literally go ahead, PNG like that, and free download. And it's that simple. Like, it's literally that simple. If you fill in your email, you can even go ahead and change the colors up and so on. If you go into Canva, or if you go into Photoshop, for example, you can lay it over with a gradient. You can add drop shadows, all that kind of stuff. Like, if I go to my actual community, you can see how these are all those flat icon things. I've literally added a gradient on top and added some shine with a pen tool, essentially. So you can literally do it so easily. We'll skip back to here, and you can make the description. You can do this via ChatGPT headlines, and then even put in the pricing that you need. I'm going to show you how to actually find Whop communities. You can very quickly have a look at clipping. We go into personal branding, become financially independent. You can see all of these different ones here, and you can see how low the boundary is set. In my opinion, none of these look extremely professional or anything like that. They have basically no reviews. This is something that looks very kind of nice and premium, but otherwise nothing really that amazing. So you can basically see like that. Look at my community real quick. You're going to see like this. You can see the waiting list. You can see the different slides, very simple, very aesthetic. And then you just have like a simple features list and a simple little title here. We've made sure that it's a lead funnel as well. So we actually get the Instagram handle, all these questions answered. Then you press continue. Then we allow you into the community. So that is a very simple setup. And just going back into the presentation now, you can just see how that branding and visual identity, very much ties in. Make it feel like you. It's extremely important that it is very representing of you, of your brand, of everything you do. And this is what I talk about. That premium look, that premium feel is what sells the people. It's incredible. I literally have hired people off of the basis of how they look. I've made important decisions off of their social media. And it's the same way in real life. If you present yourself as a really like well presented character, you're in shape, you look good, you dress well, you smell nice, those different factors are gonna really vary your decision making of someone else. Because let's be real, if some like fat noisy American dude just came in and he was like, hey bro, like, yo, you want to do this, you want to do that, and it's like stinks because he hasn't had a shower, it's really gonna vary your opinion compared to some well presented, well formulated guy that comes in the room, smells nice, looks good, is very well carrying himself, essentially. And your social media has to carry yourself too. And this shouldn't be like an area where you lack in, because this is where you gain people's trust. So it should be an extension of your brand, not just a random sub. And that's what I mean. Carry that throughout. It shows how, professional you may seem. So we already went over this, but first of all, yeah, the banners, second of all, profile icons, and third of all, actually selecting thumbnails, dividers, all that kind of stuff. And I already showed you with the icons alongside. And my banner is actually the same banner as on YouTube, but I just put Casper's inner circle. So stick to the brand, fonts, and colors throughout everything. For the IG, YouTube for consistency. And then subtle textures, gradients, or motion can give premium feeling. And that's what I always recommend to do on very simple text or icons. And yeah, any tools, make sure to use Figma. It's very good for, organizing things. Canva is very free, easy. If not, I would also very much recommend Photoshop. It's a better version. But cost money and it takes time to learn. And then, yeah, if you want to, also generate some AI images very quickly or some logos or some anything really, just go ahead. ChatGPT or different softwares also do a very good job. And then you also want to look at the positioning and conversion flow. Now, the design also really builds trust, but the positioning drives the actual conversions. Position yourself and set up a compelling landing page inside of Whop. You can actually headline that clearly states who this is for, because this is extremely important. A lot of people also can find your Whop community from Whop searching. So they want to make sure that this is exactly what they're going into. They know exactly what they're going into before actually knowing who you are. Short descriptions, because what they'll gain from this is very important. I said a free community built for creators, editors, and personal brands who want to grow online, make money from content, and stop feeling invisible online. So you hit a little bit of a weak point. You hit their pain points, you understand what your target audience is, and then a clean CTA. This is exactly what I've done here. Add pre-joining filter questions. This is what I always recommend. You collect more data, you learn about the people. You can see here some of the answers. I would love to learn how to create an aesthetic brand like Daniel Dallin and Iman Gatsi, and that's unique to me and aligned with my vision. There's a lot of people think, I want it like them. Well, doing it like them is just going to set you into that section of just being everyone else. You want to actually reinvent it for yourself. And then what are you currently building on? This is an important question. I'm starting a content consulting company in Thailand, working on improving my GPA in the last year in university and trying to find my own unique content style. So that's what we're helping people with. And how seriously are you about growing your personal brand? 11 out of 10. I've been making content since 2017. I've improved so much since, but have seen barely any growth. And this is that pain point. This is where we understand what our clients really want, the people inside the community. So we're really trying to fix that. Position the community as the first step into your funnel. Name channels offers like mini products, so it sounds extra premium. So this is actually something I like to look at, and this is actually what I really want to also say. Make sure your free community also has a good name. Like, this is something important. I didn't name it Casper Vivek Community. I said Casper's Inner Circle. And the reason is because it makes that premium feel. You promote it in a certain way. You can really get ChatGPT to do this with a simple prompt, list out a bunch of versions, and from there, I will never go with the actual finished ChatGPT prompt unless it's perfect, like what ChatGPT wrote out. But normally I'll find something like inner, which I really like, and then I found something like circle, and I just connect the dots. You have to spend some time doing it, but it will come to you eventually. So with that being said, that is the entire blueprint right here on how to actually create a very good personal brand, funnel, lead capture, and free community in one video. Very simple, very easy, with their personal branding online. And this is something that I'm actually very passionate about, do for so many clients, seen so many good results. So if you want to check that out, and if you're interested in something like that, you can go ahead. And I don't know when this is coming out, but we are launching on the 11th of October. So with that being said, get early access now. And if you want to use Whop, you can just use the affiliate link in the description. I'm going to be completely honest. I thought I might as well just give it a try. So with that being said, hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you in the next one.